Inaccurate tax withholdings. There can be issues when you're calculating federal or state or local taxes. Usually, when I see that people have issues with inaccurate tax withholdings, it goes back to the setup. Or sometimes people are using like outdated software or a spreadsheet. How many people have seen people run payroll on a spreadsheet? Like I did oh God, this has probably been 8 years now. I did a payroll restoration for somebody who just did a flat 10% of withholdings on
Oh my gosh.
a spreadsheet. Like it was gross wages less 10% equals net pay.
Wow.
And that was not nearly enough of the tax withholdings. And a lot of times, especially with remote employees, you might not be aware that there are local tax withholdings that employees need to have deducted. However, that I'll get different restoration cases, like everything will come to me in spurts. And at one point I had about 8 cases where people were paying as though they worked out of the headquarters instead of all the different localities where people worked. And there are states that like Ohio and Pennsylvania and Michigan are notorious for having local taxes, but Pennsylvania actually makes it super easy to figure out where your local tax jurisdiction is. There's a website called Munstats that you put in the location and the employee's address, which if they're working remotely from home, both of those addresses are going to be the same. And it tells you what taxes they're responsible for and who the taxing authority is. Ohio, I haven't found a really good way. So if somebody has a good way to figure out what the local taxes are in Ohio, because I'm doing this as restoration work, I'll usually just call Ohio Department of Revenue and say, here's the address. Tell me what taxes I need to remit. And bonus points if you can give me the link so that I can get this client set up for that jurisdiction.
Shannon, someone's asking if you could repeat that website. I think it was for Pennsylvania that you gave the website for.
Yeah, it's MUN, M-U-N, STAT, S-T-A-T, and the whole link recently changed, and it's actually a lot better than it used to be. But if you Google PAMUNSTAT, it's been a little bit since I've had a Pennsylvania restoration. But anytime you're bringing on a new client, it is super good to, I don't care if you're using Gusto, ADP, QBO, whatever payroll software company out there, they'll usually do a really good job of guiding you to what are the local taxes. But I always encourage everybody to do your own research, especially like if the client is paying you to monitor the payroll and ensure that everything is correct. Find out, make sure that, verify the setup, verify that you've got the online account access so that you can go, the deposits are being made when they're supposed to and the returns are being filed, because that's another thing that people they're like, oh, I have Gusto or I have ADP. I don't need to pay attention to this because they just automatically do it for me. Well, I've cleaned up a lot where and almost always it goes back to the setup.